Sixth being industrial and economic success is purposefully built. There is strong industrial, building a strong industrial ecosystem. Then seventh being crisis governance determines state credibility. Modern crisis are multi-sectoral and prolonged. Successful crisis management depends on preparedness, visible leadership, trusted communication, expert input, technology use, and rapid coordination across the government. Eighth being plan for multiple futures, not one forecast. Future-ready governance requires strategic foresight, scenario planning, and horizon scanning. Ninth being, as Honorable CM always keeps talking about, adoption of technology. Digital governance requires real-time integrated decision systems. And then 10th being start small, deliver fast, then scale. The program strongly emphasized a 90-day execution cycle, starting with one meaningful, visible pilot, learning from it, and then scaling systematically. Repeated execution builds institutional muscle. There, it was a 7-day tour. In fact, this planning department coordinated with the government of Singapore. The day one, every day there was a different session. Every day there was a different learning. Every day there was a different tutor or minister to interact with. The first day session was being on social cohesion and citizen-centric governance. దీంట్లో మనం నేర్చుకుంది ఏంటంటే అక్కడ మీ ఫస్ట్ దగ్గర నుంచి ఫస్ట్ ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ ని తీసుకొస్తున్నారు. అక్కడ మీకు తెలుసు డైవర్స్ సొసైటీ, దర్ ఆర్ చైనీస్ అండ్ మలై అండ్ ఇండియన్స్. అందుకని వీళ్ళందరినీ ఒకటిగా ఉంచడం కోసం అక్కడ మీ ఫస్ట్ నుంచి ఫస్ట్, ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ అయిన వారు కొత్తగా రెగ్యులర్ గా రిపీటెడ్ గా ఈ విషయాన్ని మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. దిస్ ఈస్ టు ఎంఫసైజ్ కలెక్టివ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ అండ్ షేర్డ్ అవుట్కమ్స్ అండ్ మేక్ ది పీపుల్, citizens understand of their responsibilities, not only rights, and also make them participative in the governance. That is the idea. And governance positioned as deeply social in nature, extending beyond administrative processes. Then we were taught on public trust, citizen participation, and shared ownership as pillars of sustainable governance. There were discussion on co-creation, co-delivery, behavioral design, and public communication as tools to build legitimacy. Then we visited a place called Tampines Hub. Which Tampines Hub is a place where everything comes under one roof. Every service. There are sports facilities. There was a football stadium, multi sports facilities, and there was hospital services, health services, and common citizen service, common centers, and also healthy food centers like hawkers centers, they call it, as where they serve healthy food, and people also you will find thousands, and I was told that 80% of the population, they don't cook at home. They eat outside only, and they prefer hawkers centers in Singapore. This place, everything, you name it, anything they have gyms, they have what you call library in the same place under one roof, and recreation facilities and cultural facilities. And for more particularly, since Singapore has more aging population, they have special cultural activities for aged population. And also you will be surprised to know that there are dedicated jogging tracks exclusively for youngsters and others within the corridors of the building. They have a dedicated, in the selective floors, they have a dedicated jog. When we went there, and we found people playing, children playing, and old people also enjoying with the cultural activities, and youngsters jogging around. Of course, there were aged people also who were jogging, and we went around lunchtime, but still we found people jogging in the. That was a beautiful concept that they brought in. And second day was. As I said, nation first governance and political accountability. The state first governance laga. Dantlo VUCA environment gurinchi maatladam jarigindi. Volatilities, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. that requiring whole of government coordination. దీంట్లో సింగపూర్ గవర్నెన్స్ మోడల్ ని మనం చూడడం జరిగిన ఇది గవర్నెన్స్ మోడల్ కానీ లేదా ఎంఫసైజింగ్ రూల్ ఆఫ్ లా, నేషనల్ రెసిలియన్స్, పబ్లిక్ ట్రస్ట్ అండ్ వర్క్ ఫోర్స్ రెడీనెస్ గురించి. If at all they have a workforce readiness also. If suppose you think if there's some solar panel manufacturing unit is coming to Singapore next year, this year itself they start training their youngsters or youth and make them prepared for the industry so that they can వాళ్ళని ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ కి రెడీగా పెట్టేసి ఆ ఇండస్ట్రీకి సపోర్టివ్ గా ఉండే విధంగా కూడా ఆ రకంగా అడ్వాన్స్ ప్లానింగ్ కూడా ఉంటుంది. తర్వాత ఈ దీంట్లో నేషనల్ ఫస్ట్ గవర్నెన్స్ ఫ్రేమ్డ్ యాజ్ ప్రయారిటైజింగ్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ పబ్లిక్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఓవర్ షార్ట్ టర్మ్ పాపులిజం అని. తర్వాత మీట్ ద పీపుల్ ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ కూడా చూసాం ఈ గ్రీవెన్స్ రిడ్రెసల్ గురించి. దెన్ ఎవ్రీ ఎంపీ మీట్స్ పీపుల్ ఇన్ ఏ సెలెక్టివ్ ప్లేసెస్, మోర్ పర్టికులర్లీ వేర్ దే హ్యావ్ ఏ గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ పబ్లిక్ గ్రూప్ హౌసింగ్, places called like Anganwadi centers. They have beautiful centers. They meet people, they hear them, they make an entry of everything. They have a volunteer system over there. Volunteers are basically political party workers, and they make entry, they hear, and they spend 2 hours with people, and of course they go for redress of the grievance. But we cannot compare with Singapore. They have a average population of only 25,000 per parliament. There are 97 parliament seats. We cannot compare. We have 250,000 citizens and more grievances, and more particularly thanks to Satyaprasad Garu relating to revenue relations, which cannot be redressed immediately. It takes long term. Those are long term. And they have that system. We studied that, and we made field visits to Urban Rural Development Authority, Gallery, National University of Singapore, cities. They have a beautiful system where they have, demonstrated everything to us. At one place, you can see the entire city, and how it was 3 decades ago, and what transformation it has taken place over the period, and what is their future readiness for any crisis, and urban planning also. They started saying that their focus is also building greenery. If anybody has visited Singapore some 20 years ago, they will not recognize Singapore today, because there is so much of greenery everywhere. Now the garden city in the gardens in the city, they are shifting their focus to gardens, gardens in the city, to city in the nature. City in the nature. That's how they are creating the entire ecosystem. And the third day being industrial ecosystem and infrastructure. You must be aware that how they built this in a Jurang industrial area in a reclaimed land. They first went for a reclamation of the land, and then built a beautiful industrial area, Jurang, now which has become one of the largest industrial parks of the world. Then we also made a field visit to port. You can imagine Singapore building a port, which is the second largest in the world. Everything on the spot, we using ChatGPT, we took a photograph of the entire containers. Then me and Satyaprasad Garu started counting them. Then we could not do it physically. So we took a process, then ChatGPT gave us, there were 110,000 containers on the spot. Being such a huge, large port facility, we hardly found any individual, humans over there working. We did not see. Everything was mechanized, automated, including auto-guided vehicles. There were hundreds of vehicles moving in around without driver, nothing. Everything was so systematic and being monitored at a command center, sitting in a command center. At one place for 10 people are organizing the entire, port. That was really is, then adoption of technology shows how it can be managed in an effective manner. Fourth day is inclusive growth and climate resilience. It rains 170 days a year in Singapore. So they are always ready for any crisis. Using that thing, entire water goes into sea. Then they started increasing the water table, like Annamaya district has done. The water table has been increased, and the water which was going waste, they created a barrage, and for sweet water. In case if there are floods, they have a huge pump stations which can be the water, excess water can be, flooded water can be pumped into the sea. అటువంటి ఇది చేసుకున్నారు. అపార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఎస్టాబ్లిషింగ్ 7 డీసాలినేషన్ ప్లాంట్స్ అక్కడ ఇటువంటి దీంట్లో జాబ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నారు. తర్వాత దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ మెజరబుల్ అవుట్కమ్స్ అండ్ ఎఫెక్టివ్ గ్రీవెన్స్ క్లోజర్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో హ్యాపెనింగ్. దిస్ ఇస్ అండ్ క్రైసిస్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అండ్ స్ట్రాటజిక్ ఫోర్సైట్ విషయంలో ది modern crisis framed as interconnected long term spanning health, economy, climate and public trust. వీటి మీద స్పెషల్ ఫోకస్ బెటర్. బట్ కోవిడ్ గురించి when there was a lecture on COVID crisis management, they were so proudly was saying how the COVID was combated, managed. Then we in return we heard them very patiently, but when it came to COVID management, we gave them lecture. Saying India is you are a one city. India has many challenges like geographical challenge, demographic challenge, diverse society. More particularly, Singapore doesn't have an opposition. India has opposition and many voices, and more particularly social media thing also. There's more freedom of speech in India. So then we told them how one leader totally motivated and united the entire India and fought against the COVID, and more particularly how indigenously we created N95 or PPE kits, and more particularly how we exported hydrochloroquine in all the nation, and one of the Singapore is also one of the beneficiaries of the countries, and also more particularly the indigenously developed Covaxin vaccine, how 200 crore doses were administered in India itself, and more than the 100 countries were given at the free of cost this thing. So COVID crisis management gurinchi, they have a beautiful best practices there. The more particularly the key operational lessons there: effective use of technology, improvisation, trusted communication, risk calibrated reopening. Day 5. Then day 6 is integrated governance and tabletop exercises, shift from learning and exposure to execution and implementation focus, structured reflection and cross-cutting learning, covering ports, industry, water inclusion, crisis management and whole of government approaches. There was strong emphasis on team-based governance and collective cross-sector decision making. మన దగ్గర ఈ హోల్ ఆఫ్ గవర్నమెంట్ టైమ్ అండ్ అగైన్ ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నామంటే ఈ విషయంలో మనం చూస్తే మన దగ్గర కలెక్టర్స్ యు ఆర్ నో ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. You know what is happening in your entire district. But it comes to execution, there is no coordination at the field level. Thus, taking the initiative project or scheme is taking a beating. So since there is no coordination, and for example, I take my own example. If something is being constructed in a particular hospital, DME hospital, if I ask the DME or the superintendent, what is the status of the building or whatever, he said, sir, నాకు తెలియదు sir, అది APMSCDC వాళ్ళు చేస్తున్నారు sir. There is no coordination, interdepartmental coordination. Forget about interoperability, inter-ministerial coordination. అనేక చాట్ల ఇప్పుడు పంచాయతీ రోడ్ వేసిపోతారు, వేసిన తర్వాత వాటర్ వర్క్స్ వాళ్ళు వచ్చేసి రోడ్డు కొట్టేసి పైప్ లైన్ వేస్తారు. మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ డే ఎలక్ట్రిసిటీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ వాళ్ళు వచ్చి ఇంకో రోడ్డు కొట్టేసి పైప్ వేసిపోతారు. ఇట్లా లేకుండా ఈ ఇంటర్ కనెక్టివిటీ, ఇంటర్ ఆపరబిలిటీ కూడా డెవలప్ చేస్తుంది. మేజర్గా నాకు కనిపించింది, అన్నిటికీ సొల్యూషన్ అక్కడ అదే ఎక్కువ కనిపించింది. తర్వాత 7th day digital government strategy, platforms, future technologies. Of course, like Satyaprasad Garu said, we are little ahead of them. In fact, I would say, because for a country of 60 lakh population, cannot be compared with a state of more than almost 6 crore population. We are much, but they have a beautiful systems of central role of government tech in building shared platforms, setting standards, and ensuring interoperability across ministries. Digital movement embedded in the smart nation framework, integrating services, digital economy, society, and cyber security. Tarvata platforms such as Go Business and Parents Getaway illustrated reduced transaction costs and improved user experience. They presented trusted digital public infrastructure through the National Digital Identity Framework via SingPass, CarPass, enabling secure authentication and consent-based data sharing, and Health Hub for healthcare. healthcare. They healthcare systems again, they don't have challenges that we face, but still they went there to bring down the incidences of malaria. They created one bacteria called Wahkiat. Then the male mosquito mates with the female mosquito, bringing down the reproductive laying capability of the female mosquito. That's how the malaria cases have come down. Malaria, of course, they copied it from Malaysia and Indonesia. I believe that we have to study that concept also to bring the vector-borne diseases and water-borne diseases in Andhra Pradesh. Then Operation Command Center కూడా వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. అక్కడ we had exposure to Singapore's command and control governance model for operational coordination, incident management, and interagency response, demonstration of real-time monitoring at a single integrated situational picture for leadership decision making, and they have a system of training the officials for the preparation teams, supported by reliable communication channels. Then our law minister had multiple questions to the concerned HOD. Then we tried to understand how they're having this law and order in control. These are the things. Then finally, upon our observations, as per the directions of the CM గారు, మీరు ఏం నేర్చుకొని వచ్చారు, తర్వాత మీరు ఏం చేయాలి అనుకుంటున్నారు అనే విషయాన్ని ఇక్కడ చెప్పాలన్నారు. కాబట్టి ఒక ప్రపోజల్ తీసుకొచ్చే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నాం. దాంట్లో ఒక డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ ని మోడల్ గా తీసుకొని this up to Honorable CM to decide which district has to be taken as a model for integrated governance. I was talking about that most of the lectures were on the whole of government only. Most of the concepts were on the whole of government. Akkada adevidanga ee emphasis on departmental convergence, real time monitoring through RTGS and citizen centric delivery, Singapore style approaching integrating safety, security, roads and infrastructure, natural farming, water management, land, health and market systems. Since they don't have agriculture, they don't have land available for agriculture, they are going vertical now. They are going vertical, natural farming, like I was mentioning about Tampines hub. Tampines hub lo oka place roof మీద పోయి ఎవరైనా సరే సిటిజన్ ఒక ప్లేస్ తీసేసుకుని ఆ ప్లేస్ లో వాళ్ళు గార్డెన్ పెంచుకోవచ్చు. అంటే దీస్ ఆర్ స్మాల్ థింగ్స్, బట్ అందరిని దీస్ ఆర్ ఫర్ సోషల్ కోహెషన్, అందరినీ యునైటెడ్ గా ఉంచే ప్రయత్నంలో భాగంగా చేశారు. అదే గ్రూప్ హౌసింగ్, పబ్లిక్ గ్రూప్ హౌసింగ్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఏ బ్యూటిఫుల్ కాన్సెప్ట్. ఆల్మోస్ట్ 80% ఆఫ్ ది పాపులేషన్ lives in public group housing. Public group housing, condominium, they have three concepts basically. Public group housing, second is condominium, where people private real estate kind of thing. The third is villas. There are less number of villas we could find, but public group housing lo matram beautiful concept. Subsidized price lo istaru, nothing is free. దీంట్లో ఇస్తారు. దానికి కొన్ని పారామీటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, క్రైటీరియా ఉంటుంది. ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ లివింగ్ విత్ యువర్ పేరెంట్స్ యూ విల్ గెట్ మోర్ మార్క్స్, మోర్ సబ్సిడీ ఆల్సో. ఆ రకంగా గ్రూప్ హౌసింగ్ లో ఉంటుంది. బట్ గ్రూప్ హౌసింగ్ లో ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్. You have passed one building to one building, then you have a recreational place, you have a parks, you have the ఆకర్ సెంటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, తర్వాత ఎంఆర్టీ లేదా బస్ స్టేషన్ కనెక్షన్ ఉన్నాయి. ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఎక్కడికి చూసుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఇంకోటి పాసేజ్ కూడా ఎంత బ్యూటిఫుల్ ప్లానింగ్ చేశారంటే, ఆ గ్రూప్ హౌసింగ్ లో ఒక టవర్ నుంచి ఇంకో టవర్ పోవాలంటే ఇఫ్ ఇట్ రైన్స్ అంటే చెప్పినట్టు 170 days రైన్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి ప్రతిదీ కవర్డ్. దెన్ బస్ స్టాప్ పోవాలా, కవర్డ్. మోస్ట్లీ ఇట్ ఈస్ అండర్ ది బిల్డింగ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. అన్నిటికీ అంటే ప్రతిదీ ఈజ్ ప్లాన్డ్ ఇన్ సచ్ ఎ మ్యానర్ బ్యూటిఫుల్లీ దట్ ద సిటిజన్ ఫీల్స్ ఎస్ సేఫ్, సెక్యూర్, కంఫర్టబుల్. ఆ టైప్ లో ప్లానింగ్ అంతా ఉంది అక్కడ. దీంట్లో మనం కీ అడాప్టేషన్ పాయింట్స్ మనకు స్టేట్ కు ఉపయోగపడేవి ఏంటంటే, పొజిషన్ ఆర్టీఎస్ యాజ్ ది సెంట్రల్ రోల్ ఆఫ్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంటిగ్రేషన్ అండ్ మానిటరింగ్ బ్యాక్ బోన్, షిఫ్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ సైలో సిస్టమ్ టు ఇంటరాపరబుల్ సిటిజన్ సెంట్రిక్ డిజిటల్ సర్వీసెస్, ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ కామన్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ ఫర్ డేటా, డాష్ బోర్డ్స్, API and cyber security, develop unified digital services for business, schools and health, build shared platforms for grievances, case management, bookings, communication and field monitoring, enable trusted digital identity, consent-based data sharing and AI readiness, ensure cyber security, privacy, inclusion and public trust as non-negotiable principles. దీనిలో మేము 90-day యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఏం చేయాలి, ఒక మోడల్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ 90-day యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్ అనుకున్నాం. దాంట్లో భాగంగా ఒక జాయింట్ సింగపూర్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రివ్యూ, participating ministers and also department secretaries. to consolidate learnings. Then second is launch integrated district pilot under guidance of Honorable CM, centering RTGS-based real-time monitoring for selected pilot outcomes, institutionalization of interdepartmental coordination teams, improved infrastructure, convergence across roads, water, health, agriculture, revenue and markets, promotion of natural and sustainable farming linked to health, markets and farmer income, strengthening citizen communication through a single trusted source and real-time feedback, identification of execution of projects, that is from Honorable CM chaired district reviews under the 90-day framework, virtual follow-up review with the Singapore delegation to assess progress and sustain collaboration. Then we have, after discussions, we have come out with thematic areas also, because there were 6 ministers: municipal administration, home, health, revenue, and road and infrastructure, roads building infrastructure, and agriculture. For 2 thematic areas, as far as health ministry is concerned, we are coming out with a thematic area of last mile public health coverage and rationalization and optimum utilization of human resources. The second thematic area being integrated digital health and preventive care system, which Honorable CM has already much ahead of Singapore Times has come out with the Sanjeevani, creating a digital health platform to provide quality healthcare services delivery to the citizen-centric quality healthcare delivery. Then municipal administration, urban flood management and climate resilient infrastructure, integrated urban planning and delivery. Adevanga home cybercrime prevention through citizen awareness and financial safeguards, strengthen emergency response and disaster readiness. Ilantivanni unnai. Then agriculture, promotion of natural urban farming, itlanti ivi cheyadam jarigindi. Deeniki oka 90-day యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్ పెట్టడం జరిగింది. ఆ ప్రాజెక్ట్ మేము వచ్చిన డీటెయిల్డ్ రిపోర్ట్ కూడా ఆనరబుల్ సీఎం గారికి ప్రజెంట్ చేయడం జరిగింది అందరం కలిసి. తర్వాత ఫర్దర్ గైడెన్స్ ప్రకారం దీన్ని ఎలా తీసుకెళ్లాలనే ప్రయత్నం కూడా చేసింది. దీంట్లో అందరూ కలెక్టర్స్ ప్రధానంగా జిల్లాలో ఏ ప్రాజెక్టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ జరగాలన్న కలెక్టర్సే ప్రధాన బాధ్యత కాబట్టి వీటిని తర్వాత నేను చెప్పినట్టు ఈ టైం లైన్స్ ఏం పెట్టుకొని యాక్షన్ ప్లాన్ తీసుకొస్తున్నాము, దీన్ని ముందే తీసుకెళ్లే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తాం. దిస్ ఈస్ ఫ్రమ్ మై సైడ్. There were other ministers, 5 other ministers also, who literally behaved like a disciplined school children. Disciplined school children for entire 7-day tour.
సింగపూర్ కే పరిమితం అయింది. అక్కడి నుంచి మళ్ళా ఇండియాకి వచ్చారు కదా మీరు.
అవును సార్. But still we are behaving like a disciplined school children, sir. When we have a very disciplined headmaster or principal like you, sir, we are bound to be a disciplined students only. You cannot deviate from that, sir. Thank you, sir. Now it's over to my senior ministerial colleagues, more particularly Achannaidi garu. Achannaidi garu used to be ready by 7:45, finish his breakfast in a suits for a change, in a suits and straight walking, and we all used to follow him. He was our team leader. Thank you.